Yeah, hi. Let's discuss today one of the oldest idea in the political philosophy of all across the world. That is the idea of separation of power. The particular idea which have dethroned this particular idea that all the power it lies with the king. It had removed the idea that king is kingship, okay, or the king is having the divine power. Now, originally, this ideas got begun in ancient Greece, where Aristotle noticed three kind of power in every state. You people might be studying it in PSI. Yeah. That is deliberative, executive, and judicial. But the modern political theory it started taking shape in 17th and 18th century in the Europe. When we come across the England, okay, in the England the power was concentrated under the monarch. Okay, when we talk about the king like King James the First and later the Charles the First, they have a huge concentration of power, and this huge concentration of power had resulted into severe strife, severe civil war, like what we have seen in 1652, 1653, likewise, and which eventually resulted into the glorious revolution of 1688. That silent, glorious revolution had resulted into the limited royal power, and it strengthened the deliberative mechanism, that is the Parliament of the UK. Now, when we talk about this overall spectrum that gave boost to the parliamentary democracy, not only in England but also into the continental part of the Europe. But the major landmark event it came in form of the idea or the spirit of Montesquieu, the French political philosopher, who in his book Spirit of Law in 1761 had given this particular idea. In this particular book, in 1748, he has argued that liberty is safe only when legislative, executive, and judicial power are separated and independent. He had his very famous line, that is, power should be a check to power. Power should be a check to power. Later on, this particular idea has been borrowed to the transatlantic country, that is, to the America, in the form of American Revolution of 1776. And again, it came back to the continental Europe in the form of French Revolution of 1789, wherein the masses, the proletariat of the France, they discarded the monarchy, they discarded the arbitrary rule, and they brought in comparatively more liberal regime. Okay, so that is regarding the separation of power, and which is getting reflected in Indian constitutionalism under Article 50 as well. Thank you so much.